Welcome to the B.E.S.T Self Podcast. Today we've got Debbie Peterson with us, leadership interactive keynote speaker, leadership coach, and the foremost expert on all things clarity. And maybe the best thing of all, so much fun. If you can see the monitor right now, you can see what I'm talking about. So excited to have you here, friend.
I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We are going to crush this thing. You are fun. You are super interactive. You're all about engagement and you're all about clarity. And that's your gift. Your gift is helping people find their who. And so, what is it about that? Why is that your juice? What is it is so rewarding about helping other people find their clarity?
Yeah, and it's pretty powerful. First and foremost, clarity is personal. Okay. And that is the attraction of it. Clarity is customized because it comes from within you. And the awesome thing about clarity is that there are so many, it's just like taking your vitamins on a daily basis, right? Getting your daily dose of clarity really helps you to show up as your highest and your best self, right? Yeah. So because clarity is personal, you're getting your own answers. You're tapping into your own wisdom. The clarity comes from within. A lot of people think that it is, happiness and fulfillment and really showing up as your best self means that you have to do more, and they're looking for things outside of them.
Right.
The beauty of clarity is it's simple. It's inside of you. It's an inside job, but it gives you confidence on steps that you may be taking. You may not know all the exact steps, but you've got, clarity of direction gives you confidence. It helps you to know what to focus on, what to say yes to, conversely, what to say no to, that you focus on the right things for the right reasons for you and not anybody else.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're putting power into our words.
Yeah.
I love it. So there's common trip ups. Well, first off, even before we get to that, where does one start digging to find their clarity? Because if it is going to give us confidence, if it is possibly going to eliminate imposter syndrome and stuff like that, man, that's important stuff. Where do we start? Like, where do I start digging to get this juice?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. So, for those that are watching and listening, I want to break down the word clarity, and I want to make it sticky. I want to make it so that you can pick up what it is that I'm putting out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain what clarity is by what each of the letters mean. So these are the 7 keys to your journey of self-leadership. That's what clarity is. This is how you become the best leader of you. You have to lead yourself first before you have any business going out and leading anybody else. Because inauthenticity in leadership is a recipe for a whole lot of problems. We have seen people who have gotten power hungry. We have seen people who are not a fit for a role. We have seen companies go down the slippery slopes of who knows what, as well as people. That's why personal clarity, that self-leadership, is so important, especially as you advance in your roles. So clarity, the C stands for curiosity. If you want to have more clarity about yourself, if you want to dig into who you are, then it's getting curious about what that means to you. What is it that you stand for? What is it that you love? What is it that you draw a line in the sand? What gives you energy? And what sucks the life out of you? I mean, it's just paying attention with curiosity as to who you are and what resonates, what doesn't, in every circumstance, people, etc. L is listening, tuning into yourself. There are answers inside that want to come out. There are answers inside that will steer you in the direction if you're willing to listen. But if you're powering through it, if you're overthinking it, if you're ruminating it and making decisions on what other people think, then you can often be led astray from who you are. So listening to yourself. The A is taking inspired action. You ever hear of the spaghetti at the wall?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's what we do. We fall into a trap of busyness. We have to get more done, we think, in order to get ahead. But actually, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what's right for us. So that is inspired action. It's taking the action on the right things for you, the things that are resonating with you, and eliminating the things that don't. Because often the biggest obstacle to us not uncovering who we are those outside influences that are chirping in our ears all day long. So inspired action. R is release. We all have baggage. We all have had unfortunate things that have happened to us. We've been stung. We've been betrayed. Someone disrespected us, and we carry that emotional energy with us, and it doesn't serve us at all. We have stories from when we were kids, right? Mm-hmm. About work, about money, about different people from us. And we don't necessarily need to carry those stories anymore. We need to release them, the things that aren't serving us. But a lot of times we hold on to those really tight. The I is having intention. How do you want to live your life? Is it by your design? Are you creating it, or are you letting outside factors influence you? So do you have a design? Do you have a vision to live your life with intention, or a career that aligns with you, or a leadership position that is aligned with who you are? The T is trust. Sometimes you've got to learn to trust yourself. So you talked about imposter syndrome, right? Trusting yourself that even if you don't know, you'll figure it out. Trusting yourself that the things that you've been through in your life will serve you as you move forward. And sometimes it's flat out trusting the universe that this is happening for a reason. Yeah. And you may not know what that is, but you've got to trust that this is going to lead you in a direction that is providing something to you. And then the why in clarity is saying yes to you. Say yes to you instead of saying yes to someone else. And it doesn't mean that when you say yes to you, that you say no to another person. It means you say and you get to define what the and is. Right. So that's, that process, that framework is where you start the process.
That is awesome. That is so good. Peterson Nation coming strong early. So do you believe clarity is a habit?
It is a mindset. So yeah, it is a habit. Because just like anything that we repeatedly do becomes a habit, right, so do the things that we repeatedly think.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
So there are, I always talk about reproducing productivity. I recently saw you talking about there being some myths to productivity.
Yeah.
Some kind of false paradigms on that. You want to, and you're very good at explaining it. You're very passionate about it. You want to go into that a little bit? What are some myths on productivity?
Well, we think that the busier we are, the more that we'll become, but sometimes we create a trap of busyness. So actually I did an article and a video on toxic productivity. So not all productivity is good, especially when it's happening at your detriment. Right. The things like, you wear it like a badge of honor. I am so busy. I've worked 10, 18-hour days in the past 2 weeks. And it's kind of like, really? That's something to be proud of?
Right.
When you can't put away your phone, when you're on call all of the time, when you're saying no to things that are important to you, like kids events or parent teacher meetings, or something that you do to fuel your own soul to be productive instead. And I heard this on a podcast once. Productivity is knowing what is actually important and getting it done. So it's not just getting it done. I love that definition because it requires some thought.
Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. I recently heard someone define patience as the ability to believe in the season that has yet to come.
Ooh, so that's kind of right up there with trust.
Yeah, pretty strong. I like that. And you just talked about sometimes having to believe in things that you can't see yet. And that's the success road, right? I mean, the success, and my definition of success is, it's not a destination. Success isn't the end of the road. Success is the road. And so sometimes you got to invest in you invest in being a little more clear with your message, or clear with who you want to be and what you're about. And I love it. So, man, you're slaying this thing. So, and you're just like pummeling all my questions without me asking them. I'm starting to get a little bit angry with you, Peterson. What makes your toes tap?
Oh my goodness.
What is your juice, sister?
So, there should be more than one juice, in my opinion.
Okay.
I invite someone to consider that there's more than one direction. It is just really tapping into those things that bring you joy.
Yes.
And for me, it is family. It is spending time with my family. And it is also, conversely, being on the road. So I travel the nation speaking at conferences, mostly in financial services, and focusing on women in leadership and emerging leaders. Like, those are the two demographics that I can have an impact on, especially as I talk about self-leadership practices. Now, here's a little known secret. I am an introvert. And I got into speaking accidentally. The first time I got on stage, I would have rather have been anywhere. The fact that I did not pass out was a really good sign. But it is, what people are capable of there is so much more than they think, so that makes my little toes tap. Anytime that I can be on a stage and I can share what it is that I share, and I cause someone to think differently about themselves, I cause them to think differently about their potential, and mostly about their influence to be able to achieve it, it's score. Yes. It's the best feeling in the world when you share a story. Like, my story is not perfect. The whole reason I got into this is because I hit the wall when I was in corporate. I mean, if you saw hot mess in a dictionary, my picture was next to it, because I was stuck. I was frustrated. I had a boatload of limiting beliefs about myself. I felt like I was going nowhere. I didn't know how to get ahead. I didn't even know what I wanted. And that just got me to a point where I was so stressed out. And as it happens, sometimes the universe will, serve up something. And for me, it was the cosmic 2x4. And I had no choice but to figure it out.
What was it for you? I know that, people, when I jump on other people's podcasts or when I'm speaking, everyone always wants to know our story. Yep. And I had multiple things. I had my pivotal moment was the day my son was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. That kind of shifted. I was always positive, but I had to be like anything I was before that. I had to put a highlighter over it, and to give him his best shot at being his best self. Yep. And so that was it for me. What was it? What finally happened for you where you said yes to yourself? You're probably, if you're struggling, most people that struggle don't have that kind of clarity that they need, or they're not drawing boundaries very well, or, all the things we've talked about so far. What was it that made you say yes to you?
Well, essentially it was hitting the wall. So by the age of 40, I was on high blood pressure medicine. I was on migraine medicine for just these pounding headaches. And then I ended up on anti-anxiety medicine because I was all over the place. I was so stressed out. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know how to figure it out. And my answer was chasing perfection. And of course, you and I know perfection doesn't exist.
Right.
And a lot of people pursue it because they think if they're not getting what they want, it's because they need to do more. They need to be better.
Yeah.
But oftentimes it's that clarity piece. So interestingly enough, what happened, one of my favorite quotes is, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? My boss at the time sent me to a mindset training.
How about that?
And that is where the rubber hit the roads. Now he sent me there for work, but it's application. This, anything you do to develop yourself professionally affects you personally, and vice versa. So it was a game changer for me. That's when the rubber really hit the road. And I thought my life changed just by thinking differently. And when I adopted that, I thought, holy cow, if I can do this, then other people can do it too. How do I pay it forward? And Brad, that was the beginning of the business. And the whole reason it's getting to clarity, because that's the journey for me.
Mhm.
That's why it's the company. That's why it's the book. I mean, literally getting to clarity came to me in the middle of the night. I woke up with that phrase on my mind. I went to my laptop, 2 a.m, GoDaddy, the URL was available and I bought it. And that was how things started. So
I love it. So good. So good. So we've only got a couple minutes here, and then I am kicking you to the curb, Peterson
Okay.
Nation. Gonzo. I don't care if you're in Florida or Pennsylvania or Pensacola, gone.
Okay.
No, I have really appreciated this. This has been great. So you were talking about, I thought that, man, that's amazing that there's not enough bosses that do the kind of thing that your boss did for you. I mean, I don't know what your guys' relationship was like, but people will spend, I talk about how, you can go 3 weeks without food, you can go 3 days without water. You can't go 3 minutes without breathing, and you can't go 3 seconds without thinking. But nobody wants to invest. We spend more time planning out our vacations and have a larger sense of urgency trying to find our charging cord than we do trying to fix the 6 inches between our ears, and not even just fixing it, just strengthening it. So I just think that's really cool. When does a person know that they need a mentor or a coach?
Anybody who realizes that they want to make a step bigger than they are comfortable making on their own. Because one of the biggest mistakes that I made, Brad, was that I thought I had to figure it out all by myself. I thought I had to have it all mapped out, because if anybody knew I didn't have it mapped out, that I would be judged and found lacking. And the thing is that anytime you're looking to, make that step, go with others. That could be a mentor, it could be a coach, it could be a trusted board of advisors that you put together. But having other people with you shortcuts your progress, because you are not meant to figure it out on your own.
No doubt about it. That's really good. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know any like reputable coaches that don't have coaches.
Are you kidding? Yeah. I always have a coach.
Yeah.
Always have a coach. And as a matter of fact, I usually have them in different areas.
Yep.
So for instance, I just donated 60 pounds back to the universe. Thank you very much. I didn't want it, Gonzo, as you would say. But the whole reason I was able to do it is because of the person I was working with. I had a coach to help hold me accountable and give me the structure that I needed. Right. I've got a coach that helps me with mindset. I got a coach who helps me with business, because that's not where my superpower is. My superpower is clarity, right? I help people figure out their next steps in their career and their leadership and their business. But I need someone to support me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to invest in you. I mean, investing in you is the best investment you'll ever make.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with you. I use the same way. I used to also have the mindset exactly how you described, where I felt like if anybody found out that I was getting help or still learning or whatever, that I'd be perceived as weak. I had that same mindset. And what I found, and I'm sure you're the same way, is the more I invest in myself, the better I am at helping others invest in themselves. And it's like the double win. By adding value to my life, I'm adding value to their life. I'm going to get a little selfish today so that I can be a little selfless with others. So
exactly.
Cool beans. All right, girlfriend. Well, you got 30 to 45 seconds. 30 to 45 seconds at the time of this recording, we're 64 countries wide, 5 continents. How can these people, incredible people, start today becoming the best version of themselves? What advice would you give to them? 30 to 45 seconds. And how can they start creating the best version of themselves today?
The best version of themselves today. The clarity model is definitely one of them. An easy place to start that's tangible is to grab the clarity workbook. And they can go to www.clarityworkbook.com. It's a free resource, as well as any of my social media And, I'm always putting content out there to help people get clarity on them. So I'd be happy if they followed along.
That would be great. And I would suggest subscribing to you. I think you have a YouTube channel, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of 9 to 10 minute clips in there. You do a really good job, friend. I'm not just blowing wind up your what. You do a great job. You're very clear. You got good energy. Everything you give is something that people can take and put into their lives immediately. And so that's one of the many things I dig about you. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, really.
Awesome. Make it a great day.